Just for a moment, the absolute worst night of your life.
Oh, okay.
You're in a hospital, you're expecting to welcome your first child, and instead, in just a few hours, you lose both your wife and your newborn son.
It's an unimaginable tragedy.
And that's exactly what happened to Manmeet Singh Mattewal in Chandigarh back in 2005.
So naturally, he wanted answers. He wanted someone to be held accountable.
Of course. He sued the doctors in the nursing home.
Ew.
But while the emotional core of this is devastating, our deep dive today is actually about a huge legal curveball that came later.
Yay.
You see, the husband sued them, but he was very specific. He claimed negligence in post-delivery care.
So after the baby was born, he was focused on things like delays in getting blood or moving his wife to a bigger hospital.
Precisely, the emergency response. But here's where it gets, well, very strange.
The case goes all the way up to the National Commission, the NCDRC, and they look at all the evidence.
And they actually agreed with the doctors. They found there was no negligence in the post-delivery care. So they cleared them on the exact thing the husband was complaining about.
Yes, they cleared them. But then, in the same breath, they did something legally baffling. They convicted the doctors anyway.
Wait, how? On what grounds?
On a completely different issue, something to do with antenatal testing pre-delivery care. They basically said, you didn't do what he accused you of, but, we found something else you did wrong over here.
So let me get this straight. They convicted the doctors on a charge the husband never even made.
He never made it. And that, right there, is the entire case. That's why it went to the Supreme Court.
Okay, so this is about more than just medical facts.
It is. It brings us to a core legal idea, the sanctity of pleadings. When the Supreme Court looked at this, they said a court simply cannot travel beyond the pleadings.
What does that mean in plain English?
Think of it like a football match. You can't just move the goalposts halfway through the game because the other team missed a shot. It's not fair.
That makes perfect sense. The doctors came to court with a file full of evidence to defend against Charge A.
The post-delivery care.
Right, and then the judge turns around and convicts them on Charge B, which they never even knew was on the table.
Exactly. It's about procedural justice. The Supreme Court said for a trial to be fair, the accused has to know exactly what they're being accused of. A court can't just invent new charges to help out a complainant, no matter how tragic the story is.
Okay, I get the legal point. But practically speaking, a mother and a child still died. I mean, doesn't that just scream negligence somewhere?
That is a crucial distinction the law makes. A bad outcome, even a horrific one, does not automatically equal negligence. The Supreme Court pointed to landmark cases like Jacob Mathew and the Bolam test. They set the standard. Medicine is incredibly complex. Sometimes terrible things happen, even when doctors do everything right.
And in this specific case, it wasn't just the court's opinion against the doctors, was it?
Not at all. And this is a key fact. There were five separate medical boards that investigated this. Yes. And every single one found no gross negligence. The Supreme Court really emphasized this. They said judges are not doctors. When you have a chorus of medical experts saying the standard protocol is followed, a judge can't just substitute their own lay opinion.
So that leads us to the final verdict, which I have to say feels incredibly harsh.
It is. The Supreme Court didn't just dismiss the complaint.
No, they went further. They ordered the husband to refund the 10 lakh rupees he had received as interim compensation.
It's a brutal outcome, without a doubt, but it hammers home a vital lesson.
For the public, I suppose.
For the public, it means your complaint has to be specific and thorough from day one. You can't just hope a court will find a reason to rule in your favor.
Yeah, and for any lawyers listening.
The lesson is even clearer. The sanctity of pleadings is absolute. You cannot win a case on an argument you forgot or chose not to make. It's just a fundamental rule of the game.
It's just a tough situation. You have this principle that ensures a fair trial for the accused, which is vital. But on the other side, you have a grieving family who not only loses, but now owes money.
It really leaves you with a difficult question, doesn't it? Does this strict adherence to procedure really protect the system, or does it sometimes stop courts from doing what they see as complete justice when they spot a clear error that the victim's side just happened to miss?
Something to think about. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.